Hello and welcome to Courtside with the Ashland University women's basketball team. Brought to you by the Ashland University Journalism and Digital Media Department. I'm Miles Irvin, and today I'm joined by head coach of the Eagles, Kari Pickens. Coach, thanks for coming on the show. How are you?
Doing great. Thanks for having me today.
Of course. Well, unfortunately, the season has come to an end. It came to an end in round one of the GMAC tournament. You guys put up a great fight against a very good Northwood team, but came up short 79-72. What was the biggest difference in that game?
I thought that game was honestly one of the best games that we had played down the final stretch, which was really encouraging for our team. I think looking forward into the future, we know we have so many pieces. It was just being able to put it together for a 40-minute basketball game. I don't think that we did that great as a team. As a coach, it would really challenge and stretch me to figure out, okay, what do we need to do different to help us get in that position to finish those games better. But the one thing about this team that I always saw was that there was always effort. They always worked hard, and there was a high level of belief through and through. We just have to clean some things up, and I'm really excited for an offseason to be able to do it.
For sure. Well, looking back at the season overall, you guys finished 14-13, 10-10 in the GMAC. Back in October, we talked about how things could be different with all the new personnel coming in, the new style of play for your team. How did the season compare to your expectations going in?
This season, I loved this team. I'll start with that. And so that was really just a rewarding experience for me as a coach, and that I came into practice every day and I really enjoyed the people that I was with. Because that's not always the case, and sometimes the years are harder even if you're winning. And this year I really enjoyed the team. I can say on the court it looked different than every way that I expected it to look, to be honest. I wanted to be able to really push and play fast and play with tempo. I don't think that that's something we did that early, and then when we got hit with a little bit of an injury bug, we definitely slowed it down just because we didn't have as many people to play. At one point in a game, I think we had 8 total bodies that we were trying to put out on the court, and so we couldn't play with the pace that we wanted to. And so that definitely looked different defensively. I think that was the thing that I was most unprepared for going into this year. We had previously been a denial defensive team where we really protected the three-point line, guarded one-on-one in the post, and I didn't realize how critical Haley Smith, Sarah McKee, and Zoe Miller were on the defensive side of it. I knew we were going to be graduating a lot with scoring and rebounding, but it was their defense that really kind of anchored our defensive system, and so we had to completely change our defensive system about halfway through the season, and I was not anticipating that. And so it was a year full of learning and growth, and I know it's going to make our very young team even better for the upcoming years together as well.
Yeah, and of course we'll get into some of the players and their performances this year, but you mentioned the different growth from an X's and O's standpoint this year. You guys ended up going bigger to close out the season, at times starting 2 bigs on the floor. What went into those decisions, and how do you think that ended up playing out as the season went along?
Yeah, I think I had more conversations this year about who should be on the court than I ever have in my entire life. And so trying to figure out what rotations would work, wouldn't work, trying to do statistical analysis based on what lineups worked best together. And sometimes it went well and other times it didn't go well. And so for me, just really helping our players grow in a level of consistency over the summer. That way when we do come back, we can work to put lineups together where there's a more consistent product versus this year. We would try a bunch of different things and it would maybe work for a game or two and then we would struggle for a game or two. And championship teams have consistency to them, and that's what we want to get back to.
Well, in a very competitive GMAC, you guys ended up finishing 8th. Played a lot of big games down the stretch, a lot of late game close scenarios. What do you think contributed to your team, although finishing up in 8th place?
One, I think our defense was our biggest Achilles heel of the year. I thought that we, in a lot of games, scored enough points to win, maybe just 1 or 2 where we didn't, but we gave up too many points. And so I do think defensively that was something that we just struggled with all year. Offensively, our execution of things down the stretch, I think it got a little bit better over the course of the year, but still being able to finish making those winning plays. And so for me, trying to put our team in more situations than practice to where there's like the heat of the moment of, if I don't make this free throw, if I don't make this shot, we lose the game, because we were in a lot of end of game situations where I think we just struggled to finish down the stretch a little bit more. We shouldn't even have been in those situations because of our defense being the state that it was this year. But again, just so much room for growth, and I'm really excited for what our team can push forward and learn from it for the next year.
Yeah, well, something that is extremely exciting is that you've got a lot of returning players going into next year who got lots of reps on the floor this season. What can that do for this team going forward?
I think there's an extreme level of hunger in our team going into the future. Players who got a taste of some minute, got some taste of different roles and what they could be for our team. Just fuels the fire, I think, going into the summer, especially into this postseason. We've started, it's been a great week of postseason with this crew, and I know that there is I've had several players tell me that while they are at Ashland, we will never not make the NCAA tournament again, because that hit hard for our team. We've made the NCAA tournament before this year 13 out of the last 14 years, and this was the first year in a long time that we hadn't make it. And I think our team took it really personal that we didn't, and so they don't ever want to have that happen again.
Yeah, well, you mentioned defensively maybe being an Achilles heel for your team. That could definitely be something big going into next year. What has to improve on that end for you guys to get back to that level that you guys hope to achieve?
I think I just have to change our style. We for a long time had the biggest, most agile post player on the court in a Haley Smith and a Sarah McKee, Elena Snyder, a Sarah Loomis. Like, we've had post players who could defend one-on-one without needing any help, not only inside but out on the perimeter as well. And I don't think that we have quite that same match of size and athleticism to be able to just go one-on-one inside. And so we have to be able to change our system to match, okay, how are people getting the easiest points against us? We got to be able to take those away. And it's going to start with, what do we need to do with our post defense? And then we'll work outwards from there.
Well, last season, one of the big bright spots in the entire GMAC really was the incredible freshman campaign of Jenna Slates. How would you assess her first season?
Jenna had an incredible freshman year. I don't think that there's an argument that she had the best freshman year of anyone who's come through our program, at least in my knowledge of what she was able to do, not only scoring, but rebounding, her defense, a lot of different things. And so, and the thing that I love about Jenna is that she's just as hungry for improvement. I try to tell everyone the most growth I ever see in players is from their freshman to sophomore year, because they know what it looks like. They know what they need to do. I think Corey Vermillion is a great example. She had very spot minutes as a sophomore, and then she was our leading scorer before she went down. Like, that's a huge level of growth and confidence and all of those things. And Jenna, I know, wants to have that same level of growth as well.
Yeah, well, it seemed like at times she was doing everything out there, even shooting jump shots, taking the ball off the dribble. Where do you look to see her grow heading into next year?
I think her ability to score in 3 different levels is the biggest thing that we want to see enhanced. She could shoot the 3 this year, but we want her to shoot the 3 confidently next year. She could shoot the pull-up this year, but we want her to be able to create shots with a pull-up consistently next year. She could get down to the rim and kind of just power through people, but we want her to be able to do secondary triple moves, to be able to keep people off balance and be a little bit more crisp with her footwork around the rim. So she can already do a lot of things because of her athleticism. We just want to be able to enhance it and to perfect it to where her percentages aren't, I think this year she was about 70% from the free throw line, 50% from the field, and 35% from 3. We want those to go up to 80% from the free throw line, almost 60% from the field, and 40% from 3. Like, that's the next level that we want to get to for her.
For sure. Well, at the point guard spot, we got to see a full year of Ashley Mullett running the offense. What did you think of her play this season?
Ashley had another huge growth from her freshman to sophomore year. I think that she definitely earned a second-team all-conference nod for the season. I think that she had some ups and downs in the season, as is typical for a lot of sophomores, if I'm being perfectly honest, where she'd have games and stretches of time where it's like, holy cow, she's the best shooter in in the league, to be honest. And then she'd have a couple stretches where she struggled a little bit more. But the thing that I loved about Ashley is that she was really poised and consistent through it all. And I think is set to have just an absolutely tremendous junior year, because she has a year under her belt where she was the leader out on the court. She was the person with the ball in her hands more than anyone. And so for her to be able to step into next year with a lot more confidence of having that year established to be able to really push us forward.
And then throughout the season, you mentioned Corey, Vermillion, Lexi Howe missed a lot of the season. What do you think they can bring to the court next season when they return?
They're both just tremendous athletes. That's something that I think our team is going to really thrive on next year, is our athleticism. Not only in them, but some of the younger kids that we have coming up through, right, who maybe didn't get a ton of minutes, or maybe they're incoming freshmen, we're going to be really athletic. So I think that those two coming back will bring a level of athleticism to our team that we didn't have quite as much down the stretch. To where they're confident finishing full speed in transition, they're confident getting downhill, and they're both really good three-point shooters, which also helps tremendously, because if you can't make a three, no one's going to come out and guard you. So let's knock a couple down and then be able to blow by, and that's what they do really well.
Then your supporting cast as well. We got to see a lot from Gia Castellanova, Caitlin Harabeding, and Kyra Hill this year. What do you think of their play?
They were great with what we needed them to be. I'm going to spotlight in particular Kate and Gia, with them coming back as our only two seniors, which is kind of crazy to think about. The level of growth that those two had, even throughout the course of the season, was incredible. Gia, the first half of the season, struggled. And then the second half of the season, she was a whole new player, was playing by far her best basketball. The last half of the season, she averaged 9 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists while shooting 45 from the field and 40 from three. Those are astounding numbers, while also guarding the other team's best players. And so I'm really excited to watch those two lead our program with just their level of consistency and work ethic that they bring every single day.
With all these players coming back next year, you guys look to have a great chance to do something special. What is the mindset for your team and your players this offseason to come back in the fall and the winter ready to go?
Yeah, this might sound cliche, but our program's vision statement is Ashland University Women's Basketball is on a relentless pursuit to be the best Division II women's basketball team in the country and make a positive impact on all who cross our path. So whether we would have had 2 people coming back or 10 people coming back, when you sign up to be a part of our program, that is what we are signing up to do, is to be on that relentless pursuit. And I am so excited to say that our team has done that really well so far this postseason.
Absolutely. Well, as we now head into the offseason, any lasting words for Eagles fans with the season coming to a close?
Yeah, I just genuinely thank you for just the continued support. I know the record wasn't what people are used to when following our team, but I still felt an overwhelming level of investment, of commitment to our program. And while the wins and losses didn't match what we wanted it to, just really grateful for the people for showing up, and an encouragement to know that this team's going to be really ready to hold to their promise. Like I said, I've had 2 girls. We will never not make the NCAA tournament again while they're here, and I'm going to do everything I can to hold them to it too.
That's fantastic. Well, Coach, thanks so much for joining me all season long. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. You guys have done a great job.
Of course. Thank you for all your support this season. I'm Miles Irvin, and you've been watching Courtside right here on AUTV.